Hey there, cookie bakers. On this video, we will go over icing consistencies. This icing is fresh out of my mixer and it has a very stiff peak. This is a great consistency for creating florals. And this is also the stage where you would go ahead and add your coloring. I'm going to go ahead and demonstrate these with a white dye. So I have already mixed that in there, and this would be perfect for piping florals. The next consistency we're going to take a look at will be our piping. And so I'm going to go ahead and add some water with a spray bottle here. It gives me great control over how much water I am using to thin out my icing. So what I'm looking for here is a really soft toothpaste or like soft serve ice cream consistency. Let's have a closer look here. You can see the ridging on the top of the icing even though it folds over. So I am going to add a tad more water. So I am looking for a soft peak, but also after mixing, I don't want a lot of ridges and lines in the surface of the icing. So just a little bit on the softer side for piping. You can see here, this is a great consistency, not a lot of ridging after I stir, and it has a nice soft peak. Next, I will show you how to create what I call a thick flooding. This is excellent for flooding in very small areas and also details on top of your iced cookie. It stays nice and round and puffy, but it doesn't settle on its own. You would need to use a scribe tool for this type of icing. So what you're looking for as far as this consistency goes is once you have thinned it out a little and you're stirring it, you take your spatula and jiggle it, or a scribe and jiggle it, and it takes, between 10 and 15 seconds to flatten out. And you can also jiggle the bowl to kind of test out the thickness of the icing. You should be able to settle the surface to a completely smooth finish. The next consistency we will create from this point is your flooding that you would use to fill the base of your cookie, and you can also use it for details on top of the cookie. So what we are looking for here is a 15-second flood. I like mine a little thicker. Some people use an 8 to 10-second flood. I prefer this. It gives me a little puffier finish and has less chance of flooding over the side. So you would go ahead and thin this out with water, and what you're looking for is when you drizzle the icing back into the bowl, it settles on its own without any manipulation in about 15 seconds. At this point, you would go ahead and I'm going to show you how to bag your icing. You would do this with each consistency. So just bag it. I have a bag tie machine here, which just kind of wraps a piece of tape around the end, which is really great because you can just dispose your bags when you are finished. You don't have to pull the rubber bands off. So that is linked in the PDF if you are interested. Also, spinning your flooding like this with a centrifugal force pushes that icing down to the tip of the bag and also helps to just kind of disperse any air bubbles. That is it on icing consistencies. To trim your bags, you want to flatten the tip. This is the piping consistency. You want the seam side up, and you want to trim it straight across so you get a nice round opening. And your flooding will be trimmed slightly larger than the piping, but don't trim your flooding bag too large because Using a little pressure to get that out of there will help pop any bubbles on the way out.